she is now thinking about what she has been influenced.
What are those
be
influences?
Okay, so for example, like top topic, women only want to fuck niggas with big dicks, or girls only want to fuck niggas who know how to fuck, or girls only want to fuck with niggas who literally give the best sex.
You think that's society?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because let me ask you this: back in the 800 AD, do you really think women was out here caring about whether you had a big dick or not?
I feel like they were caring about the equivalent.
They were caring about, I'm pretty sure they cared about who fucked good, but they didn't care about who had the biggest dick.
So let me explain real quick my perception on nature, because I feel like you're agreeing on some things and disagreeing on other things.
Well, yeah, because not, like I said, nature and society both have their perks.
But I'm talking about nature only. I'm not talking about society. I'm talking about specific. No, I'm talking about both as far as the conversation goes. But right now, as far as why women are attracted to men or what women want from men, nature. Not the society influence. Women want the best they can get. Period.
That's fine. Yeah, I agree with you.
But period. So that means the biggest bank account, the biggest dick, the best sex, confidence, status. They want all these things. That all those
and what you're talking about is society taking advantage.
Money, sex, money, fitness,
society is taking
status.
advantage.
Look, sex, money, fitness, status. All those things are natural. That society isn't telling a woman to go with the nigga with the big dick.
It's natural because of society.
No, it's natural because of nature, not society. Before that,
do you think back in the old days a woman cared whether or not the man had a corporate job?
Hold up.
Hold up.
At any point in society, women have always wanted the best. Prior primitive times, women wanted the strongest guy in the village who brought home the most food during the hunt, who can chop down the most wood for a house, who could protect against the most invaders.
Right.
Now, women care about who has the most money, who has the best sex. At all points in time, all those different things are the same. It's all the natural requirements. None of those, sex, status, money, fitness, none of those things have changed because the guy who could chop down the most wood had the most equity, had the most valuables. At one point in time, having physical muscles was the same as having a big bank account. At one point in time, being able to protect was just as good as having a big dick. These things are equivalent. They're the same, and they have always wanted the same thing.
Well, society has influenced that, bro.
And I disagree because all those things are.
You really think
every
that
society.
women back? This is why I have always believed it used to be easier to get women than it is today.
Yes, that's true, and I feel like that's a society issue, not nature.
No, but that's what I'm saying is that has been influenced by society.
The four requirements?
Therefore, that changes what we naturally think about.
He's saying the fact...
how we think, but not how we act and feel.
But we do because of what we think and how we act.
No, we do things based on how we act, but we have certain tendencies and influences. We have certain instincts to do things.
Exactly. You just said we have tendencies and we have influences due to society. Sometimes the shit we do society. Naturally is based upon what happens in our society, which means in our lives.
Bro.
Yes, because here's the thing: you can easily say, okay, I want this and such, but in reality, from what I've seen, from what I've learned, from what I've talked about, from what I've been through, it all comes down to what happens around me. What happens around me is based upon what I allow to happen, or sometimes out of my control. The out of control thing is nature. Okay. That part right there is nature because we can't control it. Like we said before, things about nature happen because it just happens. It's what's biologically our human cells do it. A woman today is not going to naturally go and be with a guy just because he's a guy. A woman today is going to be with a guy like you said, what were the four
things? Fitness, status, health and wealth.
Right?
Oh no, I already said. What was it? It was the sex, status, health, wealth.
Okay, so those four things relate to if back then. I remember. I think I read something where back in like around the early 1900s, most people who were big women automatically knew that they had money, because back then, if you ate good, it's because you have the money to afford it.
That's a fact.
And naturally, yes, they go for that, because in their head they know that's the best option for them, because they know that means that they'll have that life that they want.
And that's why I feel like that's why I said nature dictates how you go about your nature, how you deal with nature.
How you apply your nature to your society. That's what they're trying. Yeah.
And then what you take that society, and then you use it to influence how you are in your life.
Okay.
Meaning that over time, that changes how you think naturally.
But I feel like,
because nature evolves.
Oh, my fault.
Because I feel like you have to differentiate from nature and how society takes advantage of nature.
Right.
I feel like that's where the disconnect is. Because I feel like what you deem as society, or you would go be like, yo, that's nature, is just society taking advantage of nature. It doesn't. Women want the best. That's nature.
The moment you said, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but the moment you said that society takes advantage of nature, is that exactly that same part where I say that society is a part of it.
I got an example. It's like most women are willing to leave now because of like social media. It's like
inequality.
Hold up. It's like you go back in the day.
Hear that quality.
Hold up.
That sounds like a conversation.
You go back in the day, right? A woman could get a nigga and feel like she got the best in her village or whatever, and never meet another nigga who's better than her in a 25-mile radius. But now you could get with a girl, and it's probably 100 niggas who are doing better than you because she has access to social media, all this other shit, and she can see it, and it's just like it's overload. It's like you have so many choices, you don't know what to pick nowadays. It's like you see all these Instagram bitches, you see all these different females, so it's like, yo, I got so many options. And for women too, I got so many options.
Women do have more options than we can say we have options. Because like you said, because I agree what you said about women are viewed as sexual objects until they give it.
Until proven otherwise.
So it's right, because naturally we look at women a certain way. And you know what? We admit to it. Cheers, fellas. You know, we see ourselves evolve. We see ourselves try different women. The view of women has changed. Men who got with women in the 90s look at how men today get with women is totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different.
It's all social media.
That's society.
I agree there.
Therefore, our instincts have changed.
I would disagree. Hold up. I would say,
but you just
I would say that society is the reason why getting women now is different. And because society has fucked us up, this is why only 10 to 20% of men are sexually active. Society has influenced us to go negative. We're at a place right now where things are worse than they were back then. The fact, I'm not disagreeing that society has changed. Nature is still the same. And the reason things are worse off is because
nature is still the same.
Right. Nature is still the same. Society is what it is. It changes. It has given women the opportunity to continue to follow their nature and get the best they can. And it has made things harder for men, where men have to get even further in their nature and become the best they can. You know, the very best that they can. Touching on, I forget, it was either you or you that just said, like, back in the day, maybe you, back in the day, where a woman will be attracted to a bigger guy because it implied money.
Yeah.
Okay, so that right there. Most of the time, if you were the bigger guy, you were some type of status. You had some type of maybe almost royalty. Maybe you have a lot of money. And in those positions, you have other men working under you that may happen to be fit. In the same way, you can be a fat king, but you can't be a fat warrior. You know, when you look at it that way, the warrior would get pussy, the king would get pussy. Different reasons. The king provides status and wealth and protection by who he has under him.
That duality.
The warrior provides fitness, status as a warrior, and protection. All these different
he probably
things.
make pretty decent money being a warrior too.
It depends on the society.
He's not a king though.
And that's where the differences are. It depends on
and
that's where society is different, right? The way we view him is different.
But yeah.
But in a way that they always want the same thing. I don't think it's fair to say, oh yeah, women used to like bigger dudes, because they like the bigger dudes based on what it implied. You could argue society is why they view it that way, but they were looking for the same thing. Society is glasses. That's all society is. Your eyes are your eyes. You see what you see and want what you want. Society is your glasses. It's how you view things, what you think you should do to get what you naturally want. It doesn't change what you want. It doesn't change what you are naturally. It changes how you go about it.
Society dictates how you go about expressing your nature.
Yeah.
Do you agree with
Thank you.
I would agree there.
But I think we could all agree. Yeah, but say like I feel like that's what
because here's the thing. It's like you look at it like this. Society, we do a lot of what we do today because of society. We got to admit to it. What we see, it influences what we do. What we do reflects on what we saw.
A computer engineer is only a job because of society.
A computer engineer is only a job.
There would be no computers if there were not society. Nature makes us get better.
No, but that's the thing. Computers were built before they were even capable.
No. Like when I talk nature, always think back to a man in the woods with a
like caveman time.
Yeah, no, not caveman time. Like literally before electricity. Like I'm talking literally. You have to think,
but
before
about like early 1800s.
No, not even. I'm talking like not living in caves, but I'm talking about villages, hunter gatherers. You know, maybe Native Americans.
I would say that was the point in time when we did the most for shit.
But within that, it's a simpler understanding of just nature.
Right.
We evolve, sure, but nature. You as a man, go chop that. Go find a nice piece of lumber in the woods. You go find you a rock, crack that bitch, make yourself an axe. All right, bet. Go find you a boar, kill that shit. Bet. Go chop down some trees, build you a crib. You got a home. You got your axe, you got your food. Okay, now you find a woman. In nature, a woman needs a man. Woman needs a man. You already got your house, your axe, you're strong, you're big. Women are going to be attracted to you because they need a man for that protection. You go, you have your woman, you pick your woman. She is going to help you within your life. She's going to make your life better if she's the right woman. So now, as a man, you already have your house. You already clean your house. You already get your food. You cook your food. You do all these things. Now, you could spend more time getting food. She cooks the food. You could spend more time making the house better. She cleans the house. All these different things we naturally want. Like when we talk about just nature, that is nature, pure. You have kids. The kids grow up. You teach them. They help you. Back in the day, niggas was having kids to help them live better. And the kids help you build. When you die, you pass it on to them. They make it better. Continue. We got to a point where we're able to explore different things, learn different things. We get better in math. We get better in literacy. We get better at science. We learn electricity.
Right.
We create automobiles. We create stoplights, skyscrapers, tractors, pulleys. We get better at all these different things, and society gets better, safer, and safer. We get to a point where we're not thinking about that man in the woods who had to make an axe or else die when some boars came and attacked him, or starve when he had no boars to kill. We forget about that. We get comfortable. Now you can be a merchant and sell things that other people work for. It doesn't make you less. Society evolved to give you that position. Now, you can be a CEO of a company. You don't mine any of the diamonds that you sell. You don't speak to any of the customers that you sell to. Society has evolved to give you that position. All these different levels up, we get electricity, we get the computer, we get the supercomputer, we got computers the size of rooms, we get the microchip, we get all these different things. We evolve. Society has put us in place to grow in these ways, right? But as we evolve as people, nature doesn't change. Your woman still wants the best they can get. Maybe it was as simple as the guy who's the most fit and could kill the boy for her. and protect her. But that doesn't matter as much when you have a supermarket. So now all you really need is the finance, which he has a job. And he maintains that same view because he's fitting one of the criteria or more. He might be fit. So you know that, yeah, he has his job. He can maintain it financially. But if shit ever went down, we could be okay in the woods. You might like him for that.
I feel like you have to think about nature and society as like yin and yang. That's how I view it. Because honestly, even on a natural level, humans are societal beings. It's like we like to be around one another. It's like we group up, we live together type shit. It's like, so we're naturally inclined to create a society.
I would agree.
But it's like right now, say nature is yin and society is yang. We might cling to one side more than the other. And that makes us out of balance, and that's what causes the problems.
It's bars. It's facts.
I feel you there.
It's facts.
What's your thought on that?
Listen, bro. At the end of the day,
to the mic.
I still stand by my grounds. You know, I agree with what you say. You know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I still believe that. I guess when you think about it, ask yourself this: what are the differences in what women will look for in men today to even 20 years ago?
Think they look for anything different?
Yes.
What would those differences be?
I mean, I personally don't know because I'm not a girl. But
stop it, bro. You're a man who deals with women. You would not get pussy if you were not.
I deal with a woman. I don't deal with women.
Okay, all right.
In the past, a woman.
In the past 5 years,
I don't deal with many women. I deal with one woman.
Listen, in the past 5 years.
Okay.
In the past 5 years.
Disclaimer.
Past 5 years.
This goes for y'all too.
5 years. 5 years.
You have dealt with different women. At any point that you have accomplished getting a date,
Big Cat, no bullshit,
or getting some pussy.
Say the question again. I'm sorry.
In the past 5 years,
okay,
you have dealt with different women.
Okay.
The requirements for each of these women to spread their legs for you, have been the same.
No, it's been different.
No, I'm not saying that it's the exact same thing. I put up 4 fingers. You have finances.
There you go.
I do.
You have sex.
I do.
You have status.
I do.
And I forget the last one. I'll say the ability to provide. No, because I feel like sex goes into health to a certain
fitness.
Yeah, fitness.
I don't got that, but 3 out of 4 is
so hold up. At least hold up. Hold up.
I don't got that. Back to a good smart man once said was 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing.
And that's facts. I mean, like, and that's what I'm saying. You gotta peep the book.
I know that.
But literally, when it comes down to it, let me just get like more personal to a more specific extent, right? So, Pete, me knowing you,
yes,
I know you dress well.
Okay,
I know you work hard.
I know.
I know. I mean, I don't know nothing about your money specifically, but you seem to be responsible and be in a place where you can like grow your wealth and do things like that.
Financially literate,
right? Okay. So me knowing that about you, and I know you have a certain amount of confidence and conversation skills. Mm-hmm. So I know for a fact that any of the women you have dealt with in the past 5 years have either been attracted to you physically, how you dress and hold yourself, verbally, by how you speak and communicate, or by how you explain your lifestyle, and you can understand the way you do things, what you like to do, and how you can afford to do these things, and you like certain shit.
Work hard, people.
At any point in time,
hard work pays off.
But look, at any point in time, any of the women you've dealt with in the past 5 years have been attracted to one of those things. And that's a fact. So every woman, and that's where you might disagree. You might think, oh, nah, it was just she saw something different in me. Every one of those women that you have dealt with in the past 5 years have been attracted to something off of that list. Your looks, your finances, your status, your confidence, your conversations.
Let me say something before I forget. Because it ties in. It's like, I feel like society dictates what is valuable
for nature.
Valuable.
Yes, yes, that word.
For nature,
but
that word.
It's in a woman's nature to find the most valuable man.
Right.
So it's like if society dictates in this society, this is what is valuable.
Yeah.
Maybe in this society it's super strong. In this society it's super rich. At the end of the day, society dictates what is valuable, and women are naturally inclined to chase that value.
Yeah.
You think society is implying that something else is valuable?
Yes, absolutely.
What is society
Money.
implying?
Hold up. You don't have
Is
to.
that not valuable? Is that not one of the lists?
Hold up. But it's like in another society back in the day, money was not a thing. It was whether strength, protection.
Is that not the equivalent?
Well, I think the point he's making right now is like that what we were saying earlier is like society dictates how you like express, or I mean how that, like how you apply that nature. So like I think what he's saying is like money in the way we have it with dollar bills right now isn't a thing. Like people used to trade
10 goats for a pig and shit
like
that.
goods
Yeah.
and services.
It's the barter for everything.
Goods and services. So like
Is that not
So,
the
like,
same?
no,
Exactly the same.
No, and I think I honestly I feel like it is the same thing in terms of like wealth. If you show that you have like an abundance of or enough to afford and
Value.
provide for like that. That value. So, but it's just like I think he was just literally saying like it's
So
different
society
because
does not
it's
dictate
not the
what is
same.
valuable
You know what I mean?
to a certain extent. Like a woman
you
might
think
incline
that
fitness,
society-
To a
but
certain extent.
yeah,
To a certain extent.
back in the day, being fat was never attractive
if I-
until being fat expressed value.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Which goes
So now you're
Exactly.
inclined
Exactly.
to
Exactly.
go with
Exactly.
So you're saying that's society?
what?
I think so.
Until
Yeah.
fat became
Yes, because
yes.
at the end of the day, I feel like
Yes.
when you go back to hunter-gatherer shit, money was never a thing. So it's like, nobody gave a fuck how money was not a thing. Now niggas give a fuck about how much money you make. Therefore, money is valuable. It changes how you view shit.
and
If
keeping
a
a list
woman
in
is more
mind, right?
inclined,
you keeping a list in mind, right?
yeah.
Okay. Continue.
But it's like, right, how Kevin Samuel said, if you want to look about how women naturally were, look at Soul Train.
Right.
But it's like now we are more inclined to look for thicker women because that's what society dictates as attractiveness.
No, that's what
To a certain
society has
extent.
allowed us to
Well,
think is good.
I
To a
would
certain
agree with
extent.
that statement because
Okay, yeah.
those women have low marriage rates.
I guess that's a bad example.
No, but we're not looking
But-
at the rates here, though. We're looking at like
We are
how-
to an extent. Continue.
No, but I'm sorry, Twan. I mean, it's basically what I'm trying to say is, it's society has influenced women to how they view things naturally. That's why. If you
But
go
that's for
if-
everybody.
If you go up to a girl today
Right.
and you ask her, what do you look and find in a man?
Probably
And then-
shouldn't trust her.
And then you go to her mother and you ask her, what do you find and look for in a man? And then you go to her mother, the girl's grandmother, and you ask her, what do you find and look in a man? And then you go beyond that, which we probably physically can't. But if you went back
at that point,
at that point, you realize,
Good.
I guarantee you, each one of those women are going to give you a different answer.
I agree there.
yeah, that's true.
Due to the fact that they are giving you a different answer.
Dang, now when I ask my grandma this question,
Due to that being their answers, realize what was different in each one of those lifetimes. Those differences were not caused by nature. Those differences were caused by the society that they viewed upon themselves as to how their life was.
I think I kind of see what he's saying.
I feel you there.
The way how, let's just say, our grandmothers, for example, every single one of our grandmothers, the life that they had, the society that was implicated upon them is very different than the society that was implicated by our mothers and by the women that are here today for us.
That's facts.
Facts.
That's facts.
Therefore, those women have naturally implicated how they are among men due to what they've been influenced by society. Which is
I don't
why
think I
I've
disagree with that this whole time. Yeah.
But that's why I've said society is linked to nature.
Yin and
Because-
yang.
But you
Because
just said the influence in the same way I said glasses. Yeah, they're going to move a different way based on how they perceive it to be, but it doesn't change what it is in the same way the glasses are.
But that's the nature part.
What you mean?
Okay.
Like he's saying it like you're right.
Yeah.
He's saying you're right.
Yeah,
like it doesn't change the way
it doesn't
how, like,
change.
It's just, but it's like
just
it does
that
influence. How,
it does
Yeah,
influence
I
how it
never,
is.
You feel
I
what
never
I'm
did.
saying?
I want you to continue,
Yeah.
but I never disagree with that. That's why I said glasses. Oh, my bad, Josh.
You good.
But like I was saying, it really does come down to how you perceive it, but it doesn't change what is. So if that's where you're at with it at this point, I agree with you. But my only point was it doesn't change nature. In the same way, you go with the fat guy here, the fit guy here, they imply the same thing.
It only evolves it.
It doesn't evolve the nature because in those two scenarios, hundreds of years apart, the nature has been the same. You're with the fat guy because it implies money and protectiveness. You're with the fit guy because it implies
The
health.
nature.
Hold
the,
up.
The,
The nature is
has-
different, right? Because women chase value. But
Exactly.
value, like I said, value is different in
Value-
certain areas based
Same
on
thing with
society.
money, same thing with
Hold
gold.
up.
Same thing with everything
Yeah.
that happens in our world.
A fat man back in the day meant wealth. So they were still chasing their nature, but they went about it a different way based on society.
But
But
the
it's
nature
not
is
changed the fact that the
fundamentally
nature
the same.
was always the
The
same.
way I look at
Right,
it is,
right.
when we are born, we are pure nature because we have no
Yeah.
idea what's going on.
hmm
We are only doing what we naturally must.
Right?
That's why when babies, they cry because we naturally cry. We're hungry because we're naturally hungry. Like you said, when you're hungry, you eat. The moment we start to grow, how you said, nature evolves. Us as human beings that have been born naturally have evolved. So therefore, we evolve to a point where we become a part of that society because our minds have allowed us to cope with it.
I disagree. Continue.
When kids become a certain age, they start to talk. Why do we talk? Because it's natural. It has to happen.
Yeah.
We evolve. But why do we say what we say when we talk?
because of society.
Because of society.
Yeah.
So therefore, you are now a part of society. When you now get to control what you say,
You know what? That was a really good point. I don't even want to cut you off, but like I kind of get that because I'm not gonna cap. If you talk about like a kid, like you leave a kid alone, you feel me? Like if you could possibly do that, leave a kid alone and let him
wouldn't
learn.
know how to
speak.
I know, learn how to talk on his own. Like he's not gonna speak.
Yeah, he
English.
wouldn't.
You feel me?
Right.
So it's like,
Like what- like,
that
I
is society
he wouldn't
influence.
speak, period.
Right.
So
Because-
that I feel like that's an example. My fault, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like
no.
I feel like that's an example of society literally influencing nature and somebody's development, and I feel like that's literally what he is saying.
because
now.
we are a result of naturally of
Because
our
that
parents.
that is that
Okay,
like
so
that
in
really
that,
is
in
that.
that scenario, that conversation stops at the idea of language. Literally, we naturally have come up with the ability to speak naturally.
right.
Hold up.
Based on society,
what we
but listen,
say is
based on
depending on
society, we
society.
speak different languages,
Yeah, right.
but you still mean what you mean and express yourself naturally. Society can control the words you use, not the meaning behind it.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course.
of
But he's
course.
saying that it's influencing the way you speak.
In this scenario,
Like,
right?
That's what I'm saying. Like
I
the,
feel like-
the language you use, like that's influencing your because if you like I said, if you were left on the island, my fault, Twan, but if you was left on the island alone, like if you could do that before a kid, and you didn't have no other reference of language,
You wouldn't speak.
you
you'd be a
wouldn't
deaf
speak English. No, you would speak.
No, you,
You just wouldn't speak English.
person. No, if you've never heard
No.
language,
All right, or let me
Yeah.
put it. Let me
you'd
give you
just
this.
be a deaf person.
babies,
You'd
don't,
wait, wait,
babies don't speak
Hold up.
because we didn't listen to our parents. We speak
Let me-
because we naturally speak.
Let me give you a better scenario.
I
if
feel
you
like-
if you leave two people together, and then, you know what I mean, it don't even matter, two men, woman, or whatever, but they got to communicate at some point to each other, and somehow that works out, and you can raise them.
Yeah.
They're gonna communicate some way, but it's not gonna be. And I think that's my point. It's like, now I mean, like it doesn't mean that like their communication isn't efficient or like natural, like. But just the fact that it's not English or Japanese or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like you gonna have to.
I feel like you just
there's
agree
an
with us.
influence of your parents. Say dad, say mama. Like that's a influential thing. Like and I mean
I
that's
agree
your
there.
parent. That is your parents.
and that's natural.
and it. But I mean, when you say, but I'm saying that like the language itself isn't natural.
Language is based on society. Communication is natural.
Yes,
But
and I agree with
and
that because if
that's
you
what I'm saying.
leave, hold up, if you leave
That's what
a
I'm saying.
child alone, that is unnatural because humans themselves are natural or they are natural societal beings. We like to be around each other. That's why we communicate.
Yeah.
Like blue whales, they say there's a million different tones and they all mean a different thing.
To society being a part of nature.
The yin to the yang.
And to that, I say, man,
Look, guys, at the end of the day, we are born with nature. Unfortunately, we live in a world and a life where society is a big part of us. A lot of people do what they do today because of society.
adapting to it.
We adapt to it.
Right.
Kind of like the conversation we had off camera, what we talked about that pack, where it gets to a certain point where you have to have it.
Yeah.
When you start to do things that you have to do, it becomes our own nature biology.
I disagree.
Hold up.
Because, no, but listen, but here's the thing. We do what we do because of what we've seen, we've heard, we've said, and that affects society in our lives. Not to everybody else, because what I may say to you may not be offensive to him or you, but what I do might influence myself. Therefore, if you do it too much, it becomes our natural instinct. Remember what I said, if you do that too much, it requires to the point where you end up needing it all the time.
Like bad habits.
Bad habits.
So you think that's natural instinct supposed to learn?
Exactly, because like I said, you've been influenced by society.
What do you mean exactly? I said, is it natural instinct or is it learned?
It's learned.
It's learned.
So it's not natural.
That's not
Learned.
natural if it's
It's
learned.
not exactly. It's not natural, but it allows it to be natural when you've done it so much.
It doesn't. It allows it to be learned.
But that becomes your natural state.
That's
All right,
that's
that-
where I
wait, wait, wait.
disagree.
Comes
It's
your
not.
natural
It's
instinct.
never your natural state. You could learn something. A person could. You could learn.
Hold up.
You could
If
be-
you're off
think I
lean,
kinda
right?
understand what
Hold
he's
up, hold
saying
up.
now.
If you're off lean,
I
right?
think I get what he's saying.
And you take
got one
lean
guy. I got
every
two
day.
more motherfuckers.
Hold up. If you take lean every day, when you do not have it, you naturally feel sick.
Right.
You naturally start throwing up.
If you smoke
That
weed, if you
becomes-
do coke. If
That's
you do
how
all
you
that shit.
use. That's what it is. That's your world.
But that's not your natural because that's called withdrawal symptoms.
but it
and you
becomes
overcome-
your natural
No,
state.
it's withdrawal
Hold up.
symptoms, and you
becomes-
overcome
It-
that.
hold up. Is the throwing up not a natural thing? Is is the is the
Yeah.
physical act not natural?
Yes,
It
that's
might
a
not.
natural act of overcoming influence, and you're getting back to your regular state. That's what that is.
If I get Josh drunk 2 nights in a row, which
Talk
that
to
is
the
my
mic.
that is my plan, but that's not the point here. If I get this
But it
man
says 2
drunk,
nights in a row.
it was society. It was his society because I'm in his society. I'm sorry, I'm in his society because of what he's seeing. He's seeing me. He's hearing me. He's talking to me. I'm his society. I'm the one that's allowing him to take those shots. It's influencing him to do this shot. So he is naturally going to have the effects of what I've implicated on him.
I disagree.
I
He's
feel like
not taking this shot because he genuinely didn't want to take this shot.
It's a difference between natural decision making and peer pressure decision making.
No, but the peer pressure has nothing to do with it, though.
You don't think
because
society is peer
if
pressure? Is
if
society
he
not
genuinely did
peer
not want to
pressure?
take those shots, he would not have taken that first shot right
And that's
here.
where I disagree because is society not peer pressure? Is
I-
that not was in the
think
most
with-
simplest form?
I think what he's trying to say, bro, and I mean, like, I don't even want to say like I fully 100% like agree. I'm just trying to gain a better understanding. But it's like I think what he's trying to say right now is that, like, when he says it's influencing how you would naturally do something, it's like when we have conversations and you ask the question, any question you might ask, like on your Facebook post or whatever, to just to
Yeah.
get, like. Questions will get people like riled up or whatever.
Fuck them.
You know what I mean? So the way they react to that, like, and that's like, so like, say you ask the question, is the honor of being a housewife going? You feel me? And I know that's a different pod completely.
Yeah.
But when you ask that question, like, that gets a response from people.
Right.
Not every person,
should women deserve punishment?
like,
for bad behavior.
Whoa,
Yeah, I mean-
Should women be punished
That's a
for
whole-
bad
that's a
behavior?
whole
I feel like
other-
that's exactly what
No,
you're talking
no,
about.
but that, like,
That's exactly
We
what
already
you're
touched
talking
on
about.
that.
That's
We
it.
touched on that during the hypergamy.
that's
Yeah.
even, but that's an even better question though. Like because that.
But the way he said it, yeah.
So it's like
Almost time.
because of our nature, people respond to certain. I mean, not our nature. I'm sorry. Because of society, people respond a certain type of way. We can agree on that. But that response, I feel like what he's trying to say isn't nature, but it's become natural to respond. Like when you get a woman that responds like, "Oh, why would you put it that way?" Like, type shit. It's like that is a natural response because of how society has influenced them. It's not that is nature or like, you feel what I'm
I'm gonna
saying? I
say-
think
I
it's
just-
kind
I'm
of
gonna-
let me
say one last-
that
that's
like
what Josh
weird
just
like
said.
let me and I know that's a really weird, and I mean you could disagree, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that's a really weird gray area to put it in, and like so I understand, like I honestly understand if you disagree with that, like, but it's just like I kind of like understood like where like some people's, because of how influenced they are by society, like we talk about niggas being brainwashed, like the same type shit.
Everybody.
Like, so people are really super brainwashed, so like it's like almost natural for them. I'll put it that way, almost. Like for them to be like, wait, what are you talking about? Like
Yeah.
they don't even consider what you just said for real. They just, oh, what are you talking about? Because I already know that. Like you shouldn't treat women like, and it's like they make it this whole another thing.
I would argue that is purely society and never natural. And I feel like that, honestly,
Okay.
where I keep disagreeing with the both of y'all, or even you two,
I mean-
on some of the things, I feel like you might word it differently based on what they say, and then like I might see
Yeah.
your point. But what I feel like it really comes down to is how we personally view nature versus society. Because for
Okay.
me,
I mean,
I truly feel as though nature is nature, society is society. When you do things based on your influence of nature, it does not make it natural, nor does it change your natural instincts.
Is society not natural?
Society is natural, but
when you
I'm
do
talking
things
about the
based off
influence.
your
Okay.
No,
instincts
the
of
influence.
society or nature.
You
Wait,
just
society.
said, you just
No,
said
wait,
society
let me-
is natural,
listen
but
to me,
you've been
listen to me.
disagreeing.
No,
that
wait,
society
wait.
is connected to nature.
No. See, and that's where I feel like you're mislistening.
Just repeat
Because
what you
as I
just said when you do
I
things
said,
based
I
on-
said, he asked, is society not natural? I
Yeah.
said, yes, it is natural for humans to come together. It is natural for humans to work together. When
Okay.
humans work together, they build a society. My whole point is the influence of others does not change nature. It might change how you act within your nature. It might make you view things differently to where you say, hey, other people are going to look at me this way, so I'm going to move this way. That doesn't change your nature.
Yes, it
you can't
does.
say, no, I disagree.
Wait, hold
you
up.
can't
Yes,
say, hey, this becomes your
just
natural
said it
response.
does.
Wait,
because
wait.
it's learned.
So
If
so
it's
you saying
hard.
that, right? So but I'm saying like, all right, so if I'm a guy, and I might not be, but if I'm a guy like that's like, it's like all women need to be treated equally. You talk about like with like the
I would
feminist
agree.
movement, and it's like,
We're all feminists here, people.
but I'm
Word
saying
not,
like,
fuck them.
but I'm saying
Don't even
like,
say that
in
word on
terms
this
of,
pod. That's actually like, that shit could get a shadow ban.
what?
The word feminist, like this episode might get low views because of that. Like honestly, feminism, like you can't say
Well,
that.
if they
shit.
made it this far.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Big
that's
Cat, no
some real
bullshit,
shit.
but yeah.
That's some real shit.
I did not know that. That's
Yeah, you're not. Fuck that. I don't fuck with feminism. Not right now. Fourth wave feminism.
We'll cut this out.
Nah, fuck that. I'm keeping this in. Your girl gonna see it. Continue, Josh.
I'm bagging up.
You know what?
blew my
Fuck
shit.
all that. You know what? I'm just gonna kill this shit right here and there. If you don't want to believe it, you don't want to believe it. But I know I'm still gonna sleep good tonight, and I'm gonna leave out of here knowing damn well that society is connected to nature.
See, and that's where your word
Hold up.
choice
No.
is different.
No,
I
no,
never
no.
said it
No,
wasn't
no, no.
connected.
Listen to
You're
me.
talking about
Listen to me.
society
Listen to me.
is
You did
gonna
say
make
that.
nature.
You've already said it
evolve.
earlier. I peeped what you said. I know he saw you say it, and
Yeah.
even this
I
guy,
never
Mr.
said one
Jelly over
thing that
here
went
saw- I heard
against
he
my
say
point.
Stop it.
Listen. If a woman lives her life by nature,
Talk to
no
Mike.
no society whatsoever, she has lived her life.
probably
however,
die.
however, what?
She'll probably die.
All right, whatever. We're not talking about death here. If a woman lived her life, and I guarantee you,
Talk to the mic,
if
please.
she had one guy come up to her, first guy she's ever had any interaction with, right? Society, I'm sorry, no. The guy spoke to her. She ain't fuck with him, but he kept playing. He kept playing her like he was throwing his game at her, but she was like, "Nah, I'm cool." All right. Next guy does the same thing. She now views this as, well, why are all these men always coming to me, always treating me the same, right? Right?
With two guys.
More and more guys. I mean, over time, you know, she literally has had the constant repetition of always being encountered with men that she
The
does not
exact
fuck
same
with.
type of men.
The same type of men, right?
Okay, the same type of men. Continue.
Now, because of her natural status, she has now adapted to view this as, you know how women be like, oh, all men are the same, all niggas ain't shit. Like, you know,
Yeah.
because they've constantly felt the same thing after these encounters.
No
with men.
diversity. Yeah. Continue.
Right. You agree with me, right? I got you
mean,
in agreement till then, right?
I mean, I don't feel like you said anything to stand on yet. Continue.
What I'm saying is, so far, she's had bad experiences, right?
She's encountered the same type of man, so why would anything different be expected?
Because let's not kid ourselves here. Women see shit in other women that they see in other men. They see other opportunities, other relationships. They know what they want. They know what they expect, but they keep getting. So what happens when women are nonstop with men who treat her like shit?
I mean,
They
that's not like she
naturally
gotta take
adapt
accountability
to
there.
being with a man who treats them like shit.
I disagree.
Yes, they do.
No, I
you mean
feel
to
like
tell
you
me that
gotta
if a
take
woman who is
accountability.
constantly with niggas who physically touch them,
Then she probably had bad growing up experiences, and she needs therapy.
therefore, why does she have that though? Because of
she
her
had
parents,
bad
right?
parents, yeah.
Because we're a results of how our parents are. But why are their parents like that?
Good
Because they've
question.
already lived their life and they've already dealing with society. They've already
I
gone
disagree
through the
that that's a
midlife.
big jump.
Hold up. Do
That
you
is-
feel
no,
like?
but
Let me
that's
ask you a
what
question.
needed to jump.
It's about to help you. Do you feel like society can override natural impulses?
No, I feel like at
That's
all
where
points,
I feel like
at
niggas
all
disagree.
points,
That's what takes
at
them
all
out there.
points,
Yeah.
at all points, you're gonna feel what you naturally do. Override? Are you when you say? And let me clarify, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you say override as in it's gonna make you not feel your natural impulses, or override as in your decisions are gonna be different?
Your decisions
Your
are going to
decisions
be
are
different.
going to be different.
Okay, now
Because
now that's that. Hold on, let me just
Yeah,
say this.
go ahead.
That is very specific to where I would say, the reason I brought up my own experience with the girl that turned me down, and I said my natural instinct was to do one thing, but I chose to do something else because of society.
Mm-hmm.
That already agrees with what you said, like dumb long ago in this pod.
So you've
I
already
felt we were past that. It's not saying that it won't make you do something that goes against your nature. It's saying that it doesn't change your nature because you still know what you naturally should
you still feel what you naturally
Yeah,
feel.
but you also said that nature evolves.
do. Yeah,
Why does it
nature.
evolve? What influences it to evolve?
Nature,
Nature
I
doesn't
already
evolve
said,
on its
I
own?
said nature evolves, society amalgamates.
Hold up. Wait, because that was kind of a good point. Remember the thing on the Galapagos Islands? He was talking
Yeah.
about the birds, right? With the trees.
Thick trees, thin
All right,
trees.
so
yeah.
like, I understand like that is it's that like all right, that's their natural surrounding that they adapted to, but I'm saying that like, couldn't they have just like moved to a different spot?
That's actually how it happened, Josh. You had short beak birds with thick trees. They couldn't get through the trees, so they moved. Some of them didn't move. That's why you still have short beak
Okay.
ones. The ones that moved found thinner trees, and they lived there.
All right, I'm off of
The ones that didn't
That's all the
had to
clarity.
evolve.
That's all the clarity I need.
At the end of the day,
didn't know that.
guys, listen. At the end of the day, what I was trying to tell you is that woman that I was talking about that had that constant bad times with men.
Right.
That right there was society. The men that she was
How
getting
so?
because
You mean her surroundings?
her surroundings.
Okay, okay,
Okay. And let me know when I start to lose you.
okay.
Because so far I feel like I have you.
Yeah.
She had bad encounters.
Mm-hmm.
That right there was society implementing her life and entering her life and because right now she's in the
Showing her what to get used to.
exactly.
Okay.
Now that she has only dealt with that
Yeah.
after a certain time, because one or two guys probably won't do it, but you know, if a third, fourth, fifth, sixth guy that comes into her life and is the exact same way, at that point she's done tired of it. She's done gotten used to it. What happens? Her nature evolves.
What do you mean?
It has
when you say that?
changed.
What do you say that?
Because now every time she looks at a guy, she's gonna think about all those other guys that treated her wrong.
How is that nature evolving though?
Because now she's doing it without her even knowing.
Doing what?
Looking at men like they're fucking assholes.
Uh-huh.
because of how they've treated them, which is why we said before, even before we started recording,
He's saying that becomes a part of her nature.
it becomes a part of her nature.
No, I feel like we're on the same page.
That's okay.
That's
Right?
actually
Am
weird.
I, do I,
So
do I
let's
ha-
stay
do
here.
I have you there?
So
I
this
understand what you're saying.
This is where
I don't know if I
we might
understand
come to like a roadblock, right?
Yeah.
So that woman that grows up around these asshole dudes, so she
Yeah.
gets used to the asshole dudes. Her nature doesn't change. Her nature is to pick the best man she can get. If all she's surrounded by is assholes, she's gonna pick the best asshole. She's not liking this asshole because he's an asshole and society told her to like assholes. She's liking this asshole because he's the best out of all the
But you're
assholes she's
forgetting
surrounded by.
But then you're
Her nature doesn't
so I
change.
think what our issue is here is our understanding of what society is.
I disagree. Like, did you hear what I just said?
Because what I think society is when you think about it. Because here's the thing: in today's world, I really do believe that society is over nature.
I disagree.
We do the things we do today are more influenced by society than it is by nature.
Because society takes advantage of nature.
I would argue
That's the
to an
reason.
extent.
Because I have agreed not only with what you've said and what you've said, but I have not only agreed with that most, but both that. I have agreed with
I
that
feel like
most
that's
and any
where
other
the
thing.
disconnect is.
Society takes advantage of nature.
But we need to reiterate. Did you hear what I just said prior to you continuing to speak?
What?
I said you have the woman that grows up around a bunch of assholes.
Okay.
She naturally is inclined to pick the best man she can get. So she does. That guy's an asshole because she's surrounded by assholes.
But why was she influenced to naturally pick that?
Pick the best she can get?
Why?
I feel like it's the
Hold on,
view
hold on.
of what is best.
Hold on.
Hold on.
We got to clarify here because I feel like we're playing
did she
around
have
at
it
this
in her
point.
head in the first place to pick that asshole?
See, no. And
Where did she get
thought
the
it was
idea
that,
from?
that right there, that's right there is where I feel like we need to clarify.
Okay.
You're looking at it like she's starting to pick assholes because they're assholes, opposed to picking the best she can get.
No.
That I feel like that's the discrepancy here.
Okay,
she
I'ma
is
clarify.
picking the best she can get. If it happens to be an asshole because she's surrounded by assholes, then he's gonna be an asshole.
No.
If she had better, she
what
would
I'm
pick
saying,
better.
what I'm saying is she's looking at the asshole because that's what she's gotten used to.
I would
because
disagree.
she's-
Why?
Hold up.
Why do you feel it's because?
Because
she's
I
getting-
agree with him.
Because if you it's like, for example, if you only see, and I don't mean to sound like I'm prejudiced or anything, but let's just say if you only saw black women,
Yeah.
right, and you went ahead and that's all you saw, and you got used to that. That is what influenced you to only get accustomed to black women. Or if you saw Hispanic women, you only got accustomed to Hispanic women. The same goes for white, and the same
This
goes
is
for
true.
whatever. If that's
This
all
is
you
true.
see, that's all you're going to be influenced to look at. If that's all you're influenced to look at, then naturally, that's all you're ever going to look
I
at.
got you with this.
I have
I
to.
got you with
I
this.
gotta
Wouldn't say
disagree.
that.
Because I
Would
feel
not
like
say that.
it's natural for humans. We love familiarity.
Familiar, yeah.
Yes, niggas, we love shit that's familiar.
Yeah.
So it's not that an asshole is the best she could get. It's what's familiar.
Well, no, in this particular scenario,
She's used
it's
to it.
literally no, and I feel like when he
But
said
she's familiar with.
No. But literally
Okay.
in this
Okay.
scenario, the way the scenario was put, all she is surrounded by
Is
is
black women.
assholes. No,
Oh,
no,
are you talking about that
no,
one?
no. But
I thought you-
and
'cause that was the
I
one you
wanted to
just
touch
said.
on that too, but you
Yeah.
just brought up the assholes again.
But
Yeah.
does
I'm
that
gonna
not
touch
make
on that.
assholes familiar?
But yeah, I'm not disagreeing on it being familiar. What I'm
Okay.
saying is we're talking about a specific scenario where she's approached by assholes. So when she picks an asshole, it's because society influenced her to believe that this is regular. I disagree with that. I'm saying that she picked the asshole because she was surrounded by assholes. All she knew was assholes. That was the best she can get. which
Familiar-
she's
okay.
naturally- I'm not saying she's not familiar with it.
I mean, that's fine.
But we're in a scenario where she's constantly approached by assholes. And if she never gets approached by any, that's why I asked him earlier in the statement.
I feel like that's where
It's
we
the
agree.
same type
It's
of nigga.
familiarity.
But within a specific context, I asked, the same type of nigga? That's why I need niggas to pay attention. The same type of nigga. You said, yes, they're assholes. All right, bet. So she picks an asshole. Why? Because it was the best she can get. If the best she can get out of a group of assholes is an asshole, like, what the fuck? Of
makes
course.
sense. I mean,
It just is what it is. She's surrounded by a group of assholes. Now, when you say to grow up with black women, I disagree because that's where it comes to the experience. And if you're only approached by the same people, you're going to pick out of those people. Whereas me, my experience, I grew up around specifically black and Hispanic women.
Yeah.
And growing up, I did not like black and Hispanic women. Why? Because they were assholes to me. Now, when I can't, no, and that's real.
I know. I'm
when I was
sorry.
younger, now I moved.
facts.
I moved to a place with less assholes, and I was attracted to the people that I saw that weren't assholes.
Yeah, right.
Had I only stayed where I was at, I would have picked the best asshole I can get. But I saw someone that was different assholes. Now, out of the context of color,
Okay.
I saw more black women I was attracted to out here because they weren't assholes. But when you're surrounded by only assholes, you're gonna pick
the color doesn't matter.
especially as a
He's
woman.
just
Especially as a
talking
woman.
about
I
the
want to
fact-
specify in that context, especially with the woman.
See my point proven with what he said anyway.
Bro, I feel like the only reason you feel that way is because you're not listening properly. And it's the reason I've had to repeat things that I touched on in the beginning of this talk because you weren't listening properly and you're going based off of a certain point that you have where you're not peeping how I addressed it
Yeah,
already.
because I naturally believe in what my society thinks in.
I mean, and there we go.
My last point.
There you go.
My last point is another Naruto reference.
And
Hold up. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. When Itachi told Sasuke something before Sasuke killed his ass,
Right.
he was like, we all live in our own. He was like, this world is made up of knowledge and awareness, but knowledge and awareness are equivocal. One's reality might be another's illusion. I feel like
Yeah.
knowledge and awareness, you could take those out and put nature and society based on how society influenced you and the knowledge that you have on your own nature brings people to different outcomes.
with everything being said, and
I like. I really like
I
that.
agree with what
I really
you
like
said.
that.
I've agreed with
Damn,
a lot of the things
Naruto
you've even
bars.
said. At
Bars.
the end of the day,
Bars.
all I want to say is this, and after this, whether you guys agree with me or not,
He's
up to
done. He's
y'all.
sitting it down.
at the end of the day, it's how it is. But nature and society is
Shedding a
two. And what was that?
I'm shedding
I'm
it.
shedding a tear.
Out the left eye.
Nah.
Just
How you
right
gonna say
eye.
his left eye
It's
when
like-
he's rubbing
it's
his
like-
right eye?
It's like a mental tear. Like I wasn't like really shedding a tear, but it was a mental tear.
I mean, I just if you
Listen,
said it, it's gotta be
at
one.
the-
I'm listening.
At the end of the day, guys, nature and society is a two-way street. Whether you accept it or not, that's what I think it is. Nature allows us to provide society because it's our natural instinct, and society provides nature because we adapt.
Disagree with that
we
second half.
but see, but you're disagreeing with because you think it's a one-way street.
No, I'm not saying that they're not connected. You said it was like honestly, your first initial thing was saying it was a cycle, where I disagreed.
Well, it's to me, it's kind of the same thing because a cycle. It's not like there's like a third entity. It's literally just the two, the nature versus the society. So it's like regardless whether you have it on top or the bottom, it still loops
It
back
comes
around.
back
It
around.
comes back
And
around.
that's where I
And
disagree.
it's like and it's
and
like
saying
if you
it's a
just have
two-way
nature and
street, meaning they go in the
society,
opposite direction.
and you
I don't
had a
really know
road that
about that.
connects it, there's still a two-way road because there's still going to go shit that involves each other because they're connected. Either way, they're connected somehow. Society today reflects on a lot of the things that
How
we
is
do
it
today.
connected?
Because a lot of the shit we do today is because of society.
Not disagreeing, but you said they're connected somehow. as
You
in,
disagree
like, very
because in your
ambiguously.
viewpoint of life, you haven't had that much things of society allow it to change. You've allowed yourself to live a very natural life.
That's not true.
I don't think out of any of us here you would be the one to to say that society has influenced you because you don't allow
No, it
yourself to
fucking
allow.
has. I am where I am right now because of society, and I don't like it. If I had been raised a more natural
So
way,
do you
I'd
feel
be
like
way
this
more
is your
successful.
natural instinct now
Oh hell yeah.
because of society?
No, because I realized what society is and what nature is, and I had to analyze my own feelings and understand what I've been repressing based on society.
Knowledge and awareness.
And
You
with
have
that
more
being
awareness.
said- and with that being said, then at this point, then you're gonna
said,
believe
yeah.
what you believe. Twan's gonna believe what he believes. This guy over here is gonna believe what he's believing, and I'm gonna believe what I believe.
Ah, that hurts me inside because I believe in Like, I love the idea of discussing things and coming to understandings, but when people say, yo, you just gonna believe what you believe, that means they're not willing to think anymore.
No,
they're
no,
just
no,
willing
no.
to stick to
That
what they
means that
feel.
I'm willing to accept you for who you are.
I feel you, and I accept you for who you are, but I mean, on a deeper level, it's not just about acceptance, because I feel like if you can look at somebody and disagree, but there is no issue really, then okay, accept them for who they are.
That's like
But
me
when you
not
see
agreeing
the
with
issues,
you if
when
for the
you
women
see
you
the
like.
issues, to me, I look at it, when you say you gonna believe what you believe what you believe, honestly, as far as how I look at nature and society and the bullshit going on, that's almost like, to me, like, and I know this is a hyperbolized statement. It's like saying, like, look, you believe the Nazis shouldn't kill the Jews. I don't really care. It's like, I look at it as like, yo, fuck that.
Nah, see, I don't see
Society is damn near the Nazis.
That was super hyper.
No,
It was hyperbolized. Like,
was.
society fucks us up. Nature is how we continue to move, grow, evolve, advance. Society in the modern day
And I feel like
is holding
Yeah,
us
and I feel like
back,
I brought
and it
this up.
needs to be
Society, we
addressed.
influence
It
ourselves
needs
to
to
do
be
those
fucking
things.
effective.
But I feel like I brought this
Past
up.
that.
I was like, society could either be good or bad. It could be beneficial to nature or go against or take advantage. And I feel like since you live in a society right now that takes advantage of nature, you resent society for it.
I mean, I won't disagree with that statement, but nature is neither good or bad. It just is. Society can be good or bad. So I don't like how much society has affected us, and people just go along with it without addressing the good or bad, opposed to the nature and the purity of it and how far it's gotten us.
I feel that.
Bars.
I feel that.
With that being said, I believe that. Listen, when I tell you that I'm gonna let
Talk closer to the mic.
I accept you for what you believe in. I'm not saying it because I don't care or I'm just gonna think like this. It's just that at the end of the day, I respect you well enough to where if that's what you believe in, that's what you believe in.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you to change your mind, but what I'm at least going to do is at least tell you how I think it affects my life, because at the end of the day, the way how I've been thinking this entire time has benefited my life. The way that you've continued to think how you think has benefited your life. The same thing goes for you, and the same thing goes for you.
I would disagree. Continue.
No, see, and here's the thing.
I feel like-
I question that disagreement because at the end of the day, you are here because you've wanted to be here. You want to be here. You've created this podcast as a way of what society has allowed you to believe in.
No, I feel like this podcast was made to discuss real shit, and part of the real shit, especially within this podcast, is to expose it.
Okay, so
Expose
what allowed you to think like that?
The light being shined upon me, getting information that explained why it is most of us think the way we do the things we do.
Okay,
reflecting
So you don't think-
what happened in your
analyzing.
life? What happened in your life that allowed you to think like that?
You don't think you were influenced
I
by
was just
other
saying
podcasts?
Well,
that was my
yeah,
only-
see, and that's the interesting thing.
That's a plus.
For sure. No, 100%.
That was like- yeah,
I feel like
literally.
I have been influenced by other podcasts, but here's the thing. I've always been very reflective.
Yeah.
You know, I like to think a lot. I like to talk a lot. I like to discuss a lot of things. People get mad at me for over elaborating, going into too much detail,
We've
being
had-
so
yes.
anal about words and all these things. But that's only because of me being who I am as far as how I think,
Yeah.
how I break down information, how I apply it to my life and think about my own actions.
And
right?
do you ever go back to what led to you to think like that?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think about it every day. I have changed so much over the last year. It's crazy because I look at my former mentality and I think about how I got led to that point, what made me believe these different things. I've been exposed to other I would say mindsets. I have gotten actual information to apply to my life, to understand my life, to understand other people's lives, their actions, the way people think, the way they do, to make the decisions that they do. And all I've had to do was just sit back and think. Many a time I've just sat down by myself and just literally out loud spoken to myself and just broken down, why do I feel this way? What has led me to get here? What did this person do? How is it similar? What is this information I'm being given? Is this bullshit? Is this real shit? Let me apply it to my life. Does it work? Does it make sense? Let me look at my history. well, nah, it doesn't apply there. Wait, no, this does apply there because of this. This doesn't apply there. Move forward. Apply this, not apply that. Learn this. Grow past the point of agreeing with that. And like literally, my mind just goes and goes and goes. So the way I've gotten to this point in my life, so where I feel the way I feel right now and think the way I do right now, is because I understand that throughout my life, as we've talked about this whole pod, we've all had different influences. But me particular, I look back at all my influences. I've looked at the studies of nature, whether it be dating statistics, whether it just be historical bullshit, like you could look at and see how we've evolved and grown and revolutionized certain things. And then I look at the way I was raised and the way different people taught me. And I'm like, okay, shit, well, damn, I'm not where I want to be in this area here. Or maybe this has held me back. Or maybe I've been advanced here. Maybe this is something that's been primary in how I am, my personality. Then I look into my life and I'm like, oh, damn, that makes sense. Once you understand the nature of it, you're like, oh, fuck, wow, that is crazy. Like you see, and it's not one of those things you just go along and believe what somebody said. This takes deep thought and reflection.
Right.
And you really like sit by yourself, spend a few hours just thinking about it. Like I'm always in my head. There'll be times where I just don't feel like talking because I'm thinking about shit. Be around people, whether I'm at my job, whether I'm just, I might be in the middle of listening to music, but I'm thinking about something else. I pause the shit and just talk to myself real quick. So when I understand like, oh shit, maybe I have grown up and been more emotional because I was raised around primarily women. Yeah. Maybe I haven't learned how to properly be a man because my father wasn't around in my life. My grandfather didn't play the most assertive role in my life. Maybe the way I communicate is based off of who taught me communication. Maybe I look at women a certain way because of the women around me and the women in the media. Right. Maybe I want certain things or wanted certain things based off of what I was told by society to want. But then look at back in the day when I was going after those things I thought I wanted at the time. How did I feel? At every aspect, you have to think about it. So when we talk about how everything has led us to where we are right now, I agree with you there for sure. Everything that you've gone through in your life, felt, thought, believed has led you to where you are right now, the level of success that you have right now. It's not to go against any of that, but it's to break down the minute shit and understand how everything affects them. Like we've had a similar talk before. I feel like you are as successful as you are because you grew up with both parents. You've had that influence from your mother. You've had that influence from your father. You've been working hard since you was a little kid. You've had multiple jobs. You've been, you might have not been the most confident when you were younger, but then you got influenced by certain friends and you grow up. You get certain experiences with women. You do all these different things and you are where you are right now. I'm proud of you, bro. But when we talk about all these different things, just because you aren't in a bad place doesn't mean you couldn't be in a better place. Just because you don't complain about certain things doesn't mean there isn't certain things to complain about. Just because certain things haven't affected you yet don't mean there aren't things to fix. So it's real easy to just say, well, nah, this doesn't mean that if you haven't really reflected on it. If the whole time you're looking at it from the perspective of, well, I've been able to get by, so I don't think it's that bad, opposed to looking at like the deeper aspects of it. Well, what is natural? You know, we think about that. Maybe you haven't really had to think about it because it's like, well, the way you've gone about things, it's natural for you and it works for you, so you're good. Opposed to looking at the larger aspect of it, looking at the larger populace. How do we naturally act most of the time? What is the level of success we have gotten to through acting certain ways naturally? How has society changed? What has influenced society to change? How have different societies come together and communicated and amalgamated? Now, what has that gotten us to? It's like when we really look at it, we make our decisions and we grow based on just how we live, but we rarely think about what exactly we're changing from. What is making us change, how we change, exactly how we change, how we think, how we feel about certain things. Whether I say women are sexual objects until proven otherwise, and then niggas is like, I don't know how to feel about that. Or if I break it down and I'm talking about how we are in life and what we want within marriages and what we want, all these different things. In the same way, you ask a woman what she wants in a man, she'll say, well, or what she finds attractive. She's like, oh, I don't know. It just got to be a vibe. But then you ask him, Or could you be with a man and he makes $30,000 a year and they say no? Well, I thought it was just a vibe. What if you vibe with that? It's like we say certain things because we're taught to say certain things, but then naturally it always comes down to what it is. And most of the time we get diluted on what it is. We don't know how to acknowledge what it is. We just say certain things based on what we were taught to feel, and we try to apply it in our lives, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't work out, we don't blame the way we were taught. We just say, hey, it is what it is, opposed to understanding the deeper parts of it. That's why, like, ever since learning everything I've learned, I'm like, yo, how many relationships you've had? How did it end? How did it start? What did you do? At all points, since this new understanding that I've gathered, I have not once not been able to see shit. It all makes sense, and people just haven't been exposed to certain knowledge, haven't contemplated certain things, so they're going to hold on tight to the shit that they were raised by, opposed to grow.
I feel like this been a great pod.
What I'm gonna say,
A lot of controversy.
as my closing statement, is I strongly believe that what we do today, society plays a big part. What we do today, nature plays a big part. If you may not think that society is connected to nature in any way, then at least I know you can.
God damn, you weren't listening.
Bro,
I never once implied they weren't connected in any way.
no. You've implied that it doesn't go in the direction of nature from society.
I said that I disagree in the way you view how they're connected. I definitely agree that they're connected. Nature creates society.
Well, that's all what I've been trying to say this entire
Yeah, but
damn
everything I've
podcast
said
is
disagrees with what you
tell
believe
that
in.
they're connected.
That one statement I made doesn't confirm anything you believe. I've been disagreeing with everything you believe. That statement is obviously true. Like, yeah, they're connected. Our disagreements were how they're influencing one another, what is more stronger versus society. I say nature is always going to win. Society can change and adapt and amalgamate into everything that gets poured into the pot, but nature will always stand strong, where it seems as though you're saying, hey, we just got to adapt to society and accept it for what it is. And I say that's bullshit.
No, we allow we allow ourselves to believe in what we believe in. Because deep down, if we didn't want to follow anything, then we wouldn't be. But what I'm trying to say is what I believe in allows me to function in my life. Therefore,
To be comfortable.
Exactly. You know, and I feel like it's every man's right to believe what they believe in. And at the end of the day, I love my nature in my life. I love the society in my life because I control everything. And not to sound like I need to, but more or less
You need to.
It's because
You need to control everything in your life.
it's
Stay
well
in
no
frame.
and that perspective, yes, but what I mean by that is I don't mean to want to control it in terms of any bad decisions I may make. You know, so you know it all falls down to we are natural in who we are, but society allows us to reveal certain parts about us that nature does not allow. And you are who you are today because of what you've been influenced. You are who you are today because of what you've been influenced. You are who you are because of what you've been influenced. So am I. Naturally, we respond to that. Naturally, we promote that. Naturally, we give ourselves that image to the people around us because of who we are today. You are Gravity the Beast because of what we've seen, for who you are, for how you act between us. You're that guy that we see constantly that acts like himself. You're that guy that constantly is within himself and reveals himself to be a cool, chill-ass person. I believe myself to be that confident, comfortable person that lives a decent lifestyle because of his hard work. It all comes down to what we've seen in our lifetime. If you had a different childhood, let's say you didn't have any of your parents, imagine how your life would be today had you not had your parents. And that right there is the society infiltrating your nature because of who you are today. You are
How?
Because it all comes down to what you've seen, from what you've witnessed, from what you've heard, from what you've talked. It all leads back to
And that
how
overrides
you are.
nature.
It doesn't override nature. It helps it adapt to what you are doing. It all comes down to us being
I feel
us.
like we went in circles because, like, I don't disagree with what you said because, again, like I said, niggas touching on shit that I already said. Nature adapts to society. And you just said it all helps you with the, I said that already. I feel you. But that wasn't what you were talking about prior to that. I feel like we'll get into a disagreement. I'll disagree, and it'll work into some shit I said already, and then I'll disagree on something you further with, and then repeat.
Like I said, that is my closing statement.
I feel you. I feel you.
I appreciate what the viewers may think because we are always open to what they believe in, to what they think, because that's why we are here. Because we are here to talk about what we think.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Exactly. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what y'all think. You may agree with me. You may not. You may agree with him. You may not.
Let us know. Let us know.
Everybody.
Let us know down below. You feel me?
At the end of the day, we love you guys. We make it happen.
We
tell each other how we feel because at the end of the day, we respect each other's decisions. We respect each other. We still don't care about whether or not we agree with each other, but at least we acknowledge what that person says or thinks.
I still care about if we agree with each other, but
see, that
we can edit. Honestly, I
much.
feel like we should do a part 2 on this one because I definitely got a lot more to say.
We can.
But it is what it is. You know what it is. It's the Big Cap. No
you,
bullshit.
guys.
Just conversations about
Already
passions,
know.
philosophies, and perspective. We're going to be back at you with another one.
Thank you
Yes,
guys.
sir.
We'll catch
Like,
you next
comment,
time.
Peace.
subscribe. You already know what it is.